Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the new Decidueye with Astonish plus Spirit Shackle. And honestly, I had a little bit of an idea with this team, and honestly a lot of times when I have an idea it does not really work out, but this time around it worked out amazingly. We have a horrible lead here, but we're going to see the save-swap now of the Skarmory, and this is exactly what I thought would happen here. We're going to have the save-swap of our Decidueye, going to have access to the move Spirit Shackle, and this team worked out super well for me. Like every single game that I played with this team you're going to see in today's video, and you're also going to see how this kind of works out and why this kind of works out. And for the 10 games that I played, I could have definitely won 9. I didn't win 9 total, but I still went positive with this team. I could have definitely won 9. One was a hard counter, like we're going to still see it here later on, but you're going to see here kind of how this kind of works, because as you can see here, we're going to be able to knock out the opponent's Skarmory with our Decidueye. And in the 2-shield scenario, basically, if you're going to be able to get a Spirit Shackle debuff onto their defense, you're always going to be able to win the 2 shields pretty easily. So it is kind of dependent of this, of course, if you're going to get the debuff or not, but let's take a look at this one. First game, easy victory already. And we had horrible leads, and we're going to still have some horrible leads. Yeah, Amamasnow is most likely one of the worst Pokemon to face. Sadly, some YouTuber already made a video about this. Definitely check this video out as well. But yeah, Amamasnow is a very strong Pokemon to play, and it's a little bit tricky to play for us. As you're going to see here now, the Poliwrath swapping in. Maybe I could have went into my Decidueye. I'm not sure if I would have survived an Ice Wind on this Pokemon then. But here we're going to see that we are now 2 shields down. We're still going to have to face the opponent's Amamasnow. And at this point, I would appreciate if you enjoy this video, leave a like on it. Would really appreciate it. Would really help out the channel. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to subscribe. Only around like 50% or whatever are actually subscribed to this channel. Would really appreciate it. But let's take a look at this one here. Our lead, of course, is going to be a Pokemon that you barely see anymore as well, which is going to be our what's called Steelix there. But here we're going to see that the opponent is going to have the Jellicent in the back. They sadly get to the Shadow Ball in time. If I swapped out a little bit earlier, I would have been fine there, but I sadly didn't. And so the opponent is going to be able to still survive this one here. And I would have actually been able to maybe win this game if I went for the crunch a little bit earlier, because they actually survived with 1 HP and I got the debuff. And if I got the debuff a little bit earlier, the Dragon Tail would have knocked them out. Next opponent, we're going to encounter a great lead for us. We're going to have the Broguiere in the lead, which is totally fine because we can let the move go through and we can just farm them all the way down. Amazing lead in general for the Steelix, and Steelix is such a core breaker for a lot of teams. We see them at Champ coming in, which is totally okay, and we're gonna get out again the opponent's Skarmory. And we see again what we can do with this team, because we can just go ahead and go for the Spirit Shackle, and we see here as well the opponent is going down and down. The Astonish is still hitting for neutral damage, and the opponent does not really expect this kind of behavior here, I think, because as you can see, we're going to be able to go for another Spirit Shackle, get the shield from the opponent, get them insanely low, and we have exactly the opponent at the point where we kind of want them. And you might also argue already, or like question already, or mostly I have some questions in the comment section again, why am I running Crunch on my Steelix? This is the reason here, to have something to hit the Skarmory, and so we can win this next game here as well with the brutal farm down of Victory Bell. Those games are insanely fast as well. It's a very toxic line, of course, but let's take a look at the next opponent. Horrible lead again for us, so we can swap out into our Decidueye, getting out the opponent's Skarmory here again, as I can go for the Spirit Shackle. Spirit Shackle has a 33% chance to debuff the opponent's defense, but we are kind of not lucky so far with this move. But maybe our luck turns around eventually, who knows. But we're going to see here, the opponent goes for the Sky Attack. Can we get the debuff here? Like, we're actually kind of unlucky even with those scenarios, because, I mean, okay, here we're going to get the debuff. That's totally okay. And I feel like because of the debuff, I should be able to just farm him down now. And this is exactly what we're going to do, and we have so much energy now, and as the opponent stops into their final Pokemon, which is going to be the Vigoroth, they're going to get hit by those Frenzy Plants. First Frenzy Plant coming through, doing a ton of damage, and the second Frenzy Plant is coming in now as well, and this is going to be so much, honestly, like this team is like so much fun to play. I would really recommend you to try it out. Let's take a look what the opponent is going to do here. They're going to stay in and go for most likely a Body Slam. This is fine. I swap out immediately because I know that they would swap out into the Jellicent. I know that they can still get to the Shadow Ball before I can knock them out. But what I also know is that I will outspeed them to a crunch, and this is again where the Steelix comes in clutch. Maybe a Breaking Stab would have been fine already, but I didn't want to risk it. I'm just gonna go for the safe plane, so we can easily win this game here as well. You see already how cool this team is and how cool the Decidueye actually can be as a say-swap here. A horrible lead again for us. Like, we're not winning the leads. We have like 3 water-type leads so far, I think. And we're gonna get out the Dragonair. And this was actually my first battle that I played with this team. And take a look at this. We're gonna get the Spirit Shackle, first shield, and also getting the debuff immediately here, which is amazing. We can go for another Spirit Shackle. And also the Decidueye resists all charge moves from the opponent's Dragonair, which is kind of cool. But we have now a 2-shield advantage with our Pokemon. Yes, we have to take a move here, but 2-shield advantage with a Shadow Victory Bell is just so broken and so toxic, honestly. So here I make a little bit of a mistake, could have swapped out a little bit, or like could have waited out a little bit longer. But what I decided to do now is I just use a shield. Mud Bomb is fine, I can swap out, get some damage onto them. It's going to be a Charger Bug in the back. And I was like, this is going to be a little bit tricky now, because the Charger Bug is going to be able to outspeed me to the next move, and I know that they're going to have already 2 moves stored at this point, so I cannot shield this move up, and it doesn't really work out for me as well. But now we're going to be able to still go for a Crunch against the opponent's Whiscash. This is going to get some decent damage, sadly not the debuff, but can we still reach the Breaking Swipe? We can, and so this is going to be a good game against Steelix, knocking out that Whiscash, and we can move on to the next game. So, we're going to see here next game, the Cradily in the lead. Pretty neutral lead, but I don't really want to have a neutral lead. We are going to have an ABB style line, so we're going to catch the Grass Knot here easily onto our Decidueye, and we're going to get out the Skeledirge. And this was the one game where I don't think I had a chance of winning this one. But let's take a look at this. We're going to, I think it might be this one. I think it is this one. We're going to see here the Skeledirge. I can use a shield onto the potential Shadow Ball, which I'm totally okay with. I basically played to my best at this point. Like, there's not a lot that I can do really better than this. I can go for my Breaking Swipe, hoping for the debuff, of course, but what we can try to do now is we can try to catch, and I'm fairly certain that, I don't know if the opponent actually waited there. Maybe they waited, but it looked kind of interesting there. Maybe they got just the charge move not through, but they're going to have in the back one of the hardest answers for the Victory Bell, and so yeah, like we had 2 complete answers for Grass-type Pokemon in the back and a very neutral lead, which does not work out for us really. So at this point, the opponent makes a great play though by going for the full farm down, which kinda, yeah, makes us definitely lose this game. I can still try to go for the Breaking Swipe again, try to get the debuff, 50% chance. Let's see if we're gonna get it. Of course we don't, and so we're going to lose this game here. But well played by the opponent, but it's just hard counter. Like, there's nothing that I can do. This is just hard counter. But those games are always going to exist, so like, don't really get too demoralized. Yeah, demoralized from this kind of stuff. But we're going to see again horrible lead and a case say-so. We're going to have again the kind of surprise factor of the Decidueye with Astonish, which is going to do a ton of damage here against the opponent. And yeah, they are going to be forced to go for lunch, but sadly they're going to definitely be able to outspeed me in the future. And this is actually not even a lunch, it's just a cross poison, which I didn't really know. And of course the opponent gets the instant double attack buff, because why not? Like, honestly, it feels always the same. I have like my 33% chance here twice that I didn't get. They get their 12.5% chance immediately. It is just lovely, isn't it? But at least we can still go for the full farm down here. We are forced to swap out, and we have to hope that there's going to be something in the back that we can deal with. And it's going to be a Whimsicott, which is going to be a little bit of a close one. And I decide to let this move go through, which I most likely shouldn't, because as you can see here, it's a Moonblast. It does a ton of damage. But what you also see here is that the opponent lags out. And I'm sorry, I'm just going to take this victory here right now. I was, by the way, outside when I played those battles in the freezing cold. It was snowing for us the entire time. And actually I had weather boost the entire time during this community day, at least so far. I only played 1 hour. But yeah, I just want to get over with this battle. Would have been a close one otherwise, but good game there, I guess. Not really, but let's move on to the next one. Next opponent is most likely a viewer of mine, so shoutouts to you, because this is the team that I basically showcased yesterday, and it's cool to see kind of this stuff here, but this is the thing as well. If you battle me with my own team, I'm fairly certain that I win against that most of the time, because for me, I just know how to position myself, and I just know what I have to do. I don't really know what I did here, by the way. To be fair, I should have waited out with the switch cog a little bit longer, because now I'm forced to go for a charge move against the opponent's Stunfisk. But I know, of course, at this point there's a double in the back, and I know that my Victory Bell is going to have a great time at this position, because I got rid of their answer for grass types, which is the Mantine usually. I have their weak point, like the say-so basically here currently, which is totally okay. I can just go for the Leaf Blade. they can shield, they don't have to shield, it doesn't really matter, because at this point of time I know this game is over. Like, this game is over for us, like for the opponent, because I can just position my victory bell with 2 shields against the opponent there, which is just very nice. Getting out the Mantine, of course, this is like how this team kind of works. You kind of want to bait out the potential flying type with your Decidueye, trying to still punish them, which we did here with the Frenzy Plant, and still come back from it later on here. And as you can see, we can still get to an Acid Spray, doing a ton of damage with a fast move, forcing them to go for their own charge move, and so we can just farm them down with these T-Decks. But good game to you. Was just unfortunate that I knew, of course, the team there. Next opponent we're going to have a great lead for us. It's going to be the Broguiere, and we're going to see the swap out into the Lickitung. And I make a huge mistake there. I should have swapped out way later, like way later. I should have swapped out like most likely after 1 or 2 breaking swipes, like the fastest basically, because as you can see here, I'm forced to go for 2 shields. But not only this, I'm going to be still forced to go for a charge move, and you see here some lag already, and it's going to be a little bit weirder because actually, as you can see here, I think I'm fairly certain that I would have been able to get to the Leaf Blade here. But as you're going to see, I have some frame drops there and I don't get there. And I'm fairly certain I would have been able to do there without like the frame drops. You see, of course, the frame drops not as crazy as I do because it's double speed, so half of the frame drops. But I think I would have been kind of fine here if I just got out the Lead Blade, because I either get the shield from the opponent or I basically get the Broguiere insanely low, and then it would be just a charger bug against our Steelix. So I feel a little bit robbed there, but I'm not sure if this was actually the case. But at least here I know that I was a little bit lucky, because both of my breaking swipes are actually going to be able to get the debuff onto the opponent's charger bug, which is of course amazing for us, as we can now take those moves from the opponent. The Exodus coming through, I have to try to get as much energy as possible, but it's going to be still a very close matchup. We're going to see the Exodus coming through. I can go for the Spirit Shackle, but here we're going to see a little bit of an issue with the Decidueye. The Decidueye is not going to be able to take those fast moves. We're going to actually get the defense drop, but it does not matter because I can't swap out in time. The opponent got too much energy, and so we're going to lose this game. Again, if we got the Leaf Blade off, I would have won this game for sure. Next opponent, and this is going to be also a little bit of a trickier Pokemon to deal with for this team. I guess it's kind of okay still. It's going to be the Dugong. Dugong is going to be an interesting Pokemon again here. We're going to be able to get the attack drop immediately, and I call that they're going to go for the Icy Wind anyway, and so I decide to swap out now. It's going to be the Icy Wind. I keep my shield for that, but I'm going to use my shield onto my Decidueye because Ice, super effective. I don't really want to get hit by this. So we will see here that the opponent swaps out, I think, into a Cresselia it was, and so I can go for more Spirit Shackles. I still feel like that I did not get the luck with the Spirit Shackle, that I did not get like the appropriate amount of debuffs. I was like most likely like 25 or 20%, because the amount of Spirit Shackles I actually threw this Pokemon was kind of absurd, and I think I got like 3 debuffs total. But yeah, I don't really want to complain too much about this one here. Still think it is totally solid even without the debuff, but the debuff of course helps you out quite a bit. Here we're going to be able to go for the full farmland though, which is kind of nice. The opponent swaps back into the Dugong, and we're going to see here in the back the Tropius, which is basically the worst possible Pokemon that we could have encountered. And I guess you could also argue that this was just the hardest hard counter that he could have really asked for. If I would survive this fast move here, I think I would have been, yeah, okay, I don't. I would have been able to still go for the Acid Spray, which would have helped me out quite a bit. But like this, I can still go for the breaking swipe, hope that I'm going to be able to get a debuff, which I didn't again, which is kind of unfortunate. Can still go for another one, try to get the debuff now. Let's see if I'm going to be able to do it this time around. We will see that I am going to be able to not get it again. And the opponent stops out, which was a really strange move here, because it nearly gave me the win again, but it doesn't really matter. They can still go for a move with 1 HP. And so that's going to be it for this video. There are going to be more videos coming up today for the new Pokemon, like the Lycanroc most likely, plus also the Decidueye in the Ultra League. Can't wait for them. Definitely stay tuned. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.